Now we're getting a chance to run this 18.6 Seahawk by North River, and I'm going to go over a couple of things that kind of set this boat apart from other boats in the similar size and class. Now it's 18.6, so with the bracket which holds the motor, you can really count this as a 20.5 foot, so a little over 20 foot. So this puts you at a little over 20 foot with this particular model. Now this one has a couple of things that make it different. The offshore bracket versus having the motor hanging right on the transom. I mean, it has a transom, but it's outside of the boat. So what you get is quiet. If you notice, you can't hear that motor hardly at all. I'm going to go ahead and go to an idle, and you can barely hear the motor. You can actually hear the water on the hull more than you can hear the motor. So that's a really nice thing that they do on the North Rivers. Also, the design, this clear coat that they use over top of this Zolatone paint, it seems to last longer on these North Rivers than any other boat. The top is also something. The quality of the top is probably top notch. Hughescraft does a great job because they got little unzip windows and stuff so you can get out, which would be nice North River. However, the top on it, the angles of it, the area that uses, the look of it, it's really hard to beat. We have the full enclosure on right now. It's warm inside, totally comfortable inside here, and I'm in a t-shirt and it's pretty chilly outside. So that makes it great. And we got overcast, so it's nice. It's got a little bit of tint to the windows. That's nice as well. So let's go ahead and run this and see how it does, how it drives. And so I'm going to run the motor all the way down. Okay, so we're trimmed all the way down at this point. This is the Yamaha 115. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to get this up on plane. I'm going to take it up in increments. It does not have a tack on it, so we won't know the exact speed that we're going. RPMs, but we can pull our speed up here off of the GPS fish finder here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add take it up to about 2,000 RPMs. With that motor all the way down, you feel us torquing in there pretty hard. We got that. About 10 miles an hour. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to break it up over the top and put it on plane. So the boat should set down on its own now. Okay, there it goes. Now she's pulling up onto plane. You see it's getting a lot faster, but I'm not adding throttle. We're already doing 28 miles an hour. I got quite a bit of throttle left. So we're going to go ahead and trim the boat up. We'll lift the motor a little bit on it. See if we can get it. Looks like she's holding straight off the wheel. Nice cruising speed, but it's a really soft ride. We don't have much for a swell. We'll have to run over our own weight here, but it seems to be a really nice soft ride at this point so far. I've got the bow starting to bounce a little bit. So I'm just a little bit too high, so I'm going to just set that down a little bit, and that bow should settle down, and this boat should just roll a perfect course, which it seems to be doing really well. Like about 37. All right, let's see if we can manage to get this trolling motor started up. It's cold at this point, so we should be pretty normal. Pull out the drive, go ahead and put it down in. Okay, and make sure our lanyard's hooked up, make sure it's in neutral, find our start position here, choke and crank. There we go. Oh, too early. Choke again. Half choke. RPMs down. Choke off. Leave it in the warm up. Drop it down. All right. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and run this trolling motor, the 99 T99, stands for the high thrust model. I got it in gear here, and we're gonna go ahead and run it out. See what kind of speed we can get out of it once we get going here. Okay, there's forward. Now we're out of the area where we don't want to wake. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in neutral, but I'm not gonna put it in reverse yet because we still have a little bit of extra momentum. I'm gonna go into a hard bank here. Put the boat down here. We're going over the swell. We're gonna crank it. Got it nice and chopped up out here. We're going to a full-size turn. We're gonna see how it banks out. Hand on the throttle here. Push into a hard turn. Adding throttle. Yeah. You can feel it. You can feel it ventilating prior to going out, so that's good. That means that you're not going to flip your boat accidentally when turning too hard. It'll start ventilating prior. There's some chop here. That's nice and mushed up good. One more turn here. Put her a hard bank. She likes it. She's having a good time. Not too much. She does good. We're gonna hit some big waves here, like out there. Not too bumpy at all. There's no suspension on these seats. These ones are just straight pedestals, so if that hull rides that good and you were to add pedestals, man, you'd have a really soft riding boat. Really soft riding boat. Let's put it back on the trailer. Everything seems to be run out really. There we go. Get that air out of there. Hey, Bobby here from Breen Marine. We've got a boat for you to consider. This is a 2020 North River Seahawk 18.6 with the extended transom. I'm gonna go over all the features of this from the outside, then we'll hop inside and look at everything, goods and bads, everything that this boat has to offer. So starting here at the very front, we do have surge brakes on this, and those surge brakes do go to both axles. I can see them underneath here. So you've got your surge brakes on the front, so as you stop, it'll stop the trailer and help it, even though it's a pretty light rig anyways. We also have a welded on tongue, folding tongue. There we go. So this one is welded on, so it's a lot better than the bolted on ones. It looks good, and it works a lot better than the bolted on ones. So that's a nice feature that it has to shorten up the length of it. And it'll take off a solid probably 36 inches or so for length. We also have the Fulton F2 2-speed winch, which also includes the stanchion here together with the wide roller to grab it, so it makes it very easy. So if you haven't ever seen one of these work, they are cool. So your normal position is you're cranking it up. This will put it into neutral here. Okay, so I'm pulling a little off, put it back in gear. So listen to how it clicks, click, click, click. Well, if you pull this handle out right here, now it clicks every quarter turn. So what it's doing is it's gearing it down. So that last little bit when you're trying to get the boat onto the trailer, when you put this in low gear, you just pull that handle out, and I'm telling you, you have a lot of power pulling that boat onto the trailer, and you don't have to deal with that turning that hard. Standard fold away jack on the front. Going on up to the top of the boat, it does have a Dirk anchor guide with a clam cleat built in, integrated into it up on the very front to help with the deploying of the anchor. And looking underneath, it looks perfectly straight, no scratches at all on the underside of the boat. You do have a little bit of your standard little white spots you get from anything that is in Oregon, the aluminum, but those are very easy to clean off and they are very minimal on this boat. This one does also have the splash guard on the front with the diamond plate. Looks good. Big bow area with scuppers for draining out and emptying out. North Rivers, as you probably know, they have a nice wiper system. Runs off a single motor, a lot different than the typical wiper systems on most boats that have a lot of issues. These ones seem to never have too much of an issue. A little 4-foot antenna here for your VHF radio. And moving along, we've got the Fish on Sports. And this is a Junior River crossover tower. This is all anodized aluminum on here, so they stay shiny. They do a really good job. This one also has the attached on newer version of the davit that bolts onto the tower. So this davit can fold forward and come out, so you can use it for pulling up crab pots and keeping them off the side of the boat. And doing that always works out good. Oil bath hubs here. If you look here, the oil level's right there. You got oil bath hubs on the tires, on both wheels, on the hubs, so that keeps you, first you can notice it really fast if you got oil in it, and second of all, they do a much better job of keeping those bearings lubricated. Okay, so to the transom of the boat, we have a Yamaha 115 horse, and this motor is obviously fuel injected, everything else super reliable motors, good power, as you'll see in the power when we're running it. And then we've got a T99, which is a high thrust, has the big prop here and designed wide so that it can back down and be a lot more effective in reverse. And then I got to give you this one. You got to understand this because you can't see it, but this is a major add-on option to this boat, which usually costs about $4,000 to add, and it's hidden, so don't let this one get past you. This comes here with the Garmin Reactor 40 autopilot for the trolling motor. So you can plot a course on the little remote and say we want to go, and you can hold that course. You can zigzag, do a bunch of other different type of maneuvers, and it'll hold you in a sweet straight line instead of sitting there back and forth. You know the whole game when you're hustling in a boat, you're like, oh shoot, you go to tie on your line, a lure or something like that, you look up and you turn to 180 and you're wrapping your lines up that are already out. So this will take care of dealing with all those frustrations that happen when you're trying to run the boat. It also includes throttle. It can speed up, slow down, all by a remote in the boat and be programmed to hold where it's at. Cool option. You got to make sure you value that in on this boat. Okay, we do have a nice tow pole. It comes with the boat. Post that's removable and can come out. We've got the chine guides here on the side, LED lights on the trailer. They always have a cool shape to them, only on the West Bar lights that come on these easy loaders. I like those, they're really cool. And that should do it for the inside. Here's where we put the fuel here on the port side. That's where the fuel goes. They have great tops on these where you have the arch follows, this arch follows the top. It looks really good. They got a little bit of tint to the windows on these Seahawks. It looks really good. Plus, you know, it's the North River Seahawk. These are a sick looking, bad to the bone boat. Let's jump inside and see what else we've got here. Well, there we go right here. I don't ever put these pins in these for this reason. It can be hard to get out. Okay, so we have the 2-step loading ladder with a grab handle right here. So that's what that's for. This only has it on this side. You can step in here onto the transom, into the boat. And there's a really good surprise I'm going to get to you here in the boat. You might notice it before we get to there. So you got 2 separated fish boxes back here, one on each side. They are separated. Okay, and then let's, okay, I'll just give it to you here. It's got aluminum floors. Look at these. They're metal. You know what happens with the wood floors? no, they rot. But also too, is half of them, even though they are marine grade, I swear half of them have enough chemical in them that they cause a reaction with the aluminum down in the hole, and the aluminum starts to get eaten up with those other floors. These are aluminum on aluminum, so they don't have any issues. And they last forever. And the tread on these things is superior to any of the vinyls. So this is an amazing upgrade on this boat where you have a solid aluminum deck in here. And this one's got a fish box too. Big fish box. You can get a lot of fish in that little, or in that thing for a littler boat. That's pretty rad. Let's get inside here. Dual battery setup, as with all the North Rivers. You got 2 batteries, one on that side, one on this side, and a battery selector switch inside the boat. Just so you can see what we've got here. So we've got all our fuel lines over here. There's the Reactor 40 head unit controls, and then there's another one up in the front. There's 2 on that. You got a wash down pump back here in the corner, and then you've got both your bulbs and your fuel water separator there. Nice clean rigging. And then we also too have the wash down that hooks up here, switch right here for it, and a shutoff valve there if you wanted to use that. A couple of net rod holders on the sides. Nice top on it, really great condition. I mean, it's pretty much a brand new boat, so it's gonna be, but got that. Good sized seats in here. And these ones are sweet because you can fold them all the way out. They have a little bit of carpet in there. And you're like, I don't really want carpet. Yes, you do, because it makes it so that they don't make a lot of noise when you're underway. Keeps them quieter. You got storage on both sides. Comes with a few life jackets, it looks like here. Okay. All right, and then the big wide with the arm. There, we've got the big chairs with arms. So this is a really comfortable ride. You got your controls right here, so it's up here, easy to get to. And you got an arm here too. I believe it is a swivel seat as well. Yes. So you can swivel that in to get out and in really quick, or if you want to just sit here like this at a 180 so you can watch this rod while you steer. But of course you don't have to do that because you've got a Garmin Reactor system that will do it for you. So we're going to go past that. Compliance sticker right here. That one's Canadian. It's not even for the US. So that one says a 5-person. I'm sure it's probably higher than that, but let you do that. Okay, we've got a Cobra VHF radio here, and because this individual who owned this boat doesn't want to put any holes in it, he put Velcro on everything to hold it down here, except for this. He did bolt that down. But there's a radio that sits here right on top of the dash. It's just Velcroed on with a plug to unhook it, and then you've got the VHF radio, and then you've got a Garmin Reactor, or sorry, Reactor, I'm still saying that. You've got a Garmin 74CV touchscreen head unit here for the GPS and sonar. Okay, and we checked all the circuits, everything works, lights, bilge pump, wipers, and we got horn right there. Has an auxiliary switch too for your electronics. Just looking here, we've got a nice big dash, glove compartment here in the dash, and then there's our Garmin Reactor control right there for running that trolling motor. Sweet. Okay, very good. One thing that's good on these two is they have this big area up in the bow that can be utilized. You get a lot of gear in there, and if you notice, there is carpet in there, and that's to keep the noise down on this hole. So most of them are just hollow up there. Well, they make a ton of noise because that's where a lot of the water's slapping against the hull at. Put the carpet in there, insulates it, plus keeps all your gear from rattling in there too, so that you don't have a bunch of noise coming from something up there rattling on against the aluminum. So there's a lot of value in that as well. So overall, good space. I mean, the boat is over 20 foot if you count the extended transom. It's an 18.6 to the back of the transom there, but if you go all the way back, you get another 2 feet, puts you over 20 foot. So in Oregon with the bar crossings, or a lot of other states with the Coast Guard bar crossings, you are over 20 foot on this. So you can clear the bar on that. So that's a nice setup there. There you go. I think this makes somebody a great boat, almost new condition. I know North River is kind of hard to get right now. This particular customer who bought this, they're needing to sell it, so we're gonna put it out on the market. Hopefully somebody out there needs it, and we can make a deal on it, and you can come over here to Florence, Oregon and grab it, and we'll make everybody happy.